Hello, gentle viewers. This is George from Ireland. Here I am at the Albert Memorial in London. Prince Albert, he was a German prince from the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha house. He married his first cousin, Queen Victoria, and they had 9 children. He wasn't king. He was Prince Consort. He was married to a queen, so he didn't get the title king. He believed the British standard of science, education, technology, music, culture and so forth was well below par, and he needed to introduce some German efficiency. But anyway, one of the most notable things he did was in 1850 organise the Great Exhibition of the Works of All Nations. It wasn't for all nations, but he invited many countries to display their manufactured goods here in London. And it was countries such as the United States, Russia, France, the many German states, since Germany wasn't one country at the time. Anyway, this is the Albert Memorial behind me. I'll say more about the exhibition in a moment. And this was put up after his untimely death in 1861. You can see the gold leaf sculpture of him. Had a bit of a clean-up in 1998, and then it was unveiled again. You can't walk around the whole thing. We're not allowed to walk up to it unless you come for a guided tour on Sundays, 2 or indeed 3 p.m. I think it's the first Sunday of the month only, actually. £9 for an adult. But you'll see on this corner here, this huge Asian elephant that says Asia on the pedestal, an Oriental man, this woman, this man in what presumably is supposed to be Ishmaelite garb, and all sorts of people around the pedestal. If you look carefully, you'll notice there are various distinguished men of science and letters from the era. Anyway, there are other statues on the corners of this memorial. We don't have time to walk around to them. One for Africa, one for Europe, one for America, meaning Canada by that stage. The United States was independent long before that. So the Great Exhibition, 1851, they built a huge glass structure for it. There were real trees in it and birds began to nest in it. This is half of it. These trees were planted after the Great Exhibition ended. The Great Exhibition was only open for a year, and these trees mark out half the area of that the Great Exhibition Hall. The Great Exhibition Hall, it was dubbed Crystal Palace by a journalist, and then it was dismantled after a year, and it was then moved and rebuilt in Sydenham, which is in South London. That area, Sydenham, became known as Crystal Palace. Unfortunately, a fire destroyed Crystal Palace in 1936, but that area of South London is still known as Crystal Palace, and indeed there's a spire there, some radio mast or something called that. So this raised a huge amount of money, Great Exhibition. There were a few million visitors, which was considered staggering at the time because the transport revolution just occurred. Rail travel had only started in 1825, and using the money from that, they purchased a lot of the land just to the south of this place in Kensington. So you can see Royal Albert Hall behind me, which is the largest concert hall in the United Kingdom, can seat 4,000 people, and it was built after Prince Albert's death. But there are things like Imperial College London, which is for science, technology and medicine, the Victoria and Albert Museum, and all sorts of educational and cultural institutions in that area were set up after the Great Exhibition using the proceeds of the Great Exhibition. Royal College of Music and so forth. And looking this direction, you can see the trees stretch on, and that's the other half of it. It was hundreds of meters long, the Great Exhibition Hall, from 1850 to 1851. So what else to point out about Prince Albert? Well, a fine diplomat. The American Civil War started in 1861, and it was touch and go whether the United Kingdom would get involved one side or other. And some Confederate agents came here, had an unofficial meeting with the Prime Minister, and the US government complained about that, and the British government was going to send a snotty telegram back. But Prince Albert intervened and insisted they tone it down, so the United States wasn't too offended, and therefore war was averted. Unfortunately, he died shortly after that, at the early age of 41. So that's enough about Prince Albert and the Great Exhibition, which started the World Fairs, or World Expo, still going to this day.